In an age where technology gives us what we want when we want it, whether it's 1 hour shipping from Amazon, chat boards where we discuss our favorite hobbies ad nauseum, or an endless stream of new lives reviving us after a death in an exciting video game, how does real life, which is complete with complicated social relationships and disappointments, ever compete? Are we losing our ability to experience joy in the offline world? Find out how technology may be impacting you and what you can do about it. Coming up.
Hello, this is Emily with Natural Health for Life, and we are adding on to our series of how technology affects us in the modern world. I'm here with Virginia Brown, president of the Bioelectric Shield and occupational therapist. We are going to be talking about specifically screen time, iPhones, TVs, internet. How is that affecting us?
In our last talk on the effects of technology in the body, Virginia and I discussed how EMFs harm us by inhibiting detoxification and relaxation. And that's definitely an effect of using wireless technology in particular, like cell phones, wireless phones, iPads, and laptops. If you missed that discussion, you can check back for it in our other videos, and we'll put a link to it in the show notes. Virginia is actually the co-developer of the Bioelectric Shield and is quite an expert on the topic of protecting yourself from wireless technology. In fact, some of the topics that came up while we were recording our last video made us decide that it could be very worthwhile to do some more research and see how technology affects the brain directly. Because we knew that internet and wireless devices had become so prevalent that even if people knew they were bad for you, they might still have trouble giving them up.
This is a prescription from a doctor who specializes, her name is Dr. Victoria Dunkley. She's an MD, and she works with kids who have kind of a lot of unexplained mental health problems. Tics, depression, anger, meltdowns, lying, all sorts of different things that can be a result of an overdependence on technology. So she actually has written a book that we'll mention in the comments about how to do a 3-week technology fast to help your child's brain reset. It's basically allowing some of those technology addiction areas to atrophy and building up the other side of the brain that is meant to interact with the rest of the world. So results, concrete results that she has seen are fewer meltdowns, better grades, better social skills, better sleep, better compliance, which means following directions. And if they've had problems with tics, depression, antisocial disorder, some of the more extreme things, those have been improved too. So now, as with most things, it often gets worse before it gets better. When I studied psychology, they had something that was called an extinction burst. So if you've always been able, let's say you're a kid and mommy always buys you a comic book when you go to the grocery store, and mommy decides, well, you know, we need to save money, we're not going to be buying those comic books anymore. The first couple times that you go to the grocery store, the kid will have a fit. If they used to have to ask you, mommy, I want a comic book, mommy, buy me Archie comic book, let's say 5 times, and then you would buy them the comic book. Now they're asking you 5, 10, 15, 20. The more you've given into them in the past, the more they will ask, and the longer they will persist in this horrible, very unpleasant extinction burst. And then finally, if they ask 20 times and you were able to hold out 21, you won that battle, and they're starting to learn that you mean what you say, and it's not going to happen. So the same thing happens when you go on a technology fast. So this is a complete cold turkey, no screens anywhere type of a thing. and the kids will go bonkers trying to convince you that this is unfair, you're mean, nobody else has this, I'm going to live at Susie's house, whatever it is. It's going to be unpleasant for a few days, but that usually abates within just a couple of days. And the positive outcomes that I mentioned start happening right after that period. Within a couple days, you'll see better sleep, better mood, more creativity and physicality, Virginia, for the occupational therapists in the group. And the benefits continue to develop over the weeks and months to follow. Eventually, basically, they're getting better grades, they have better social skills, and a better self-image because they know that they are a competent and successful person in a wide variety of areas. I think that that's, we talked about opportunity cost of video games. They're not having the opportunity to participate and achieve in a wide variety of things. Yes, you might have high points on the scoreboard at the video arcade, but have you been volunteering? Have you been seeing the glee in people's eye when you help them with things? You're missing out on those. So here's what she suggests getting rid of for the technology fast. No cell phones, no video games, no digital cameras, which I thought was interesting, no iPads, iPods, Wii, any of that. So basically, if it has a screen, get rid of it. She does allow some family television time, which I thought was interesting. So you could still have a movie night, for example. She says that because it's not as interactive, like you can't control what the characters are on the screen are doing, then it's not as addictive. So I don't know, if I was trying to do a clean break for 3 weeks, I think I'd just get rid of the TV too, but the doctor says that's not necessary. So here's what you do to get started. First, you, just like with ABA, you kind of define the behavior as it is. What's your starting point? And what are you trying to improve? Is your kid mouthing off to you? Is he depressed and won't come out of his room? He's not joining you for dinner. His grades are suffering. What specifically are you going to be measuring to track whether this experiment is a success or not? Second, you've got to get your spouse and your caregivers on board, which, I remember when my husband, when my kids were younger, I used to go out and say, it's Saturday, I'm going to go to the grocery store, like, can you watch the kids until I get back? And then I would come back and I would find out his version of watching the kids had been to let them, zone out watching Curious George on the iPad. And I was like, I watched them all week without any TV, and then, you let them watch the iPad. And I was very like, I did not like that. I felt like cheating. So it's easy to watch kids if you employ technology, and it's a lot harder, especially if they don't like it, when you don't let them use technology. So getting your spouse and then any like babysitters, or let's say they go to childcare and the TV is always on at childcare, that could be an issue. Or they go over to a friend's house on Wednesdays and the friend has an Xbox. You've got to monitor and police all the different environments, whether it's, school, friends, babysitter, so that everybody is on board, because it's not just when they're home, it's all throughout their environment. She's had problems where people were doing this and the kid wasn't getting better, and they were troubleshooting it, and they found out the kid was playing video games at his aunt's house after school. So they had to talk to the aunt and get her on board. So it really is important to make it a universal fast. The third thing is to get something fun for the kids to do that's not technology. They need a replacement activity. So if they're usually spending 4 hours a day on technology, what else can they do for those 4 hours that are going to be fun, hopefully? Books, puzzles, games, soccer ball, join a sports team. Get a plan so that it's not just sitting around the house, I'm bored, what am I going to do? I wish I could play my games. They need a replacement. Number 5 is looking at self-care for parents. It's a lot more work to parent your kids than to let them watch TV, or play video games, whatever it might be. So there's going to be a lot more demands on the parents during these 3 weeks. And oftentimes the parents, we used to call the TV the electronic babysitter, because I come home from work, I'm stressed out, I need to make dinner. You guys watch a show and just stay out of my hair while I make dinner. Then we'll have a family dinner together. So finding a way that the parents can get some support to get away or do something that they enjoy and bring the kids along, whatever it might be. But if you're using your kids' screen time as a parenting break, then you as the parent need to provide a replacement activity for yourself as well. How is that going to be handled? Number 6 is to involve the whole family. So ideally, other kids are not, if it's your son with ADD who's on the technology fast, it would be nice if siblings were not, no, I'm going to go play Xbox, but you can't come in here. Maybe it's a fast for everybody. Maybe they're not allowed to use technology in front of the person for whom this is prescribed. But deciding how you're going to handle that if you've got more than one kid isn't a good idea. And then the big step is to sweep the house and get out all the technology. So if your kid can find it, he's going to find a way to make it work, and then he's going to break the fast. So just like if you're going on a new diet, you get all the Snickers bars out of your cabinet, you need to get rid of the technology that's around your house, and certainly nothing that would be accessible from the child's bedroom. Duh. So her last step, which I thought was interesting to see in a medical doctor book, Virginia, is something we talked about off the air, but just setting an intention. So she's asking parents to write out basically a mission statement. We are engaging in a family technology fast from August 1st to August 31st with the goal of helping bring our family closer together, helping our children learn to experience joy outside and in nature and through relationships with other people, and specifically to help little Johnny feel calmer each day and to reduce his meltdowns from three per day that he's currently experiencing to ideally 1 or none. And having something very concrete and loving as a mission statement, just so A, we all know that we're on the same page. B, you set an intention to the universe, power of your thoughts. And 3, when times are tough and little Johnny is crying and whining for his Game Boy, that you can refer back to that and be strengthened by it. So there's actually a lot of people during summer vacation use a whole month, and they just take a month as a family. It's a beautiful time to be outdoors. They use that month as the technology fast, where everyone experiences that. And I think that's a beautiful idea. But if your situation is more urgent with your kids' behavior, seriously consider this. I think it's a great prescription for better health for everyone.